My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia, chapter 315, Platitudes.
Hey, where your money at?
Last we left off.
I don't know. I just said that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Felt like it was the right one.
I was trying to think of the context under that. What is like? Who lost the
Zero.
money?
Sorry, bro. I wish I could tell you more for that one. But I thought my exposed title for that one was super, like...
No, that was great.
Like 11 out of 10, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm giving that an A++. Perfect work, Mr. Cole.
Nice.
In any case, this is My Hero. Last we left off, Deku used his Fajin ability to catch up to Nagant, but Nagant kind of swerved him on that. Deku was starting to get used to how she fights and all that stuff, and he was about to go in for the kill, but then she changed her target over to Chisaki, and giving Deku another thing to balance in all of this motion. We start opening with this flashback sequence where Chisaki is actually kind of speaking pretty well for as crazy as he's been the last few chapters.
I know that kid, man. The one he trying to smoke.
Yeah.
The one that nigga just told you to smoke. Yo, I remember him, man.
He foiled
you
my
see his arms? Lack thereof.
That was kind of his fault, kind of.
Yeah, he was kind of an indirect result of this.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Watch out.
Good. For him. I'm with it. Let's go.
Yeah. So basically, the reason she brought him along is so he could ID her, ID Deku. I mean, and Chisaki agrees under one condition, is that she would take him to the boss, and yeah, that's where we cut over to where we left off. Nagant is pointing her gun at Chisaki, who is like, "I held up my end of the deal. Just take me to the mouse."
Yeah, as Lady Nagant starts transforming her arm into this nasty, grotesque thing.
It reminds me of something you would see in. It reminds me of something you would see in Devil May Cry or something, you know?
Yeah, right. Or like a
real
fucking Akuma or something from The Gray Man.
Yeah, for real.
Oh
yeah. Ew. She's gonna curse you, bro, duck.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, so she's about to fire, and Deku immediately changes course. He sticks a black whip onto the wall and immediately just swings really hard over to Chisaki, and we get an explanation as to what Fajin is. And basically what it is that repeated movements build up motion-based energy for temporary storage and release.
Oh.
So while getting shot at, he flexed and extended his legs. The more he moves his legs, the more kinetic energy he builds up, and it allows him to generate centrifugal force that allows him to move faster than a speeding bullet. We've seen kind of All Might do this subtly in ways where he jumps really high, all that stuff. And that coupled with the 45% of One for All, it allows him to do this kind of fake 100% type of deal where it gives him access to his full strength just by the sheer force of his propulsion, I guess.
At least full strength of speed.
Yeah.
Full range of
it's strictly, it's not
which
really
is cool.
Yeah. We'll go into it later. Yeah, we'll go into it later. I have a couple thoughts as well. But anyway, this was a cool, very Spider-Manian moment where Spider-Manian, where he pushes Chisaki out of the way, then he does the two webs on the thing and slingshots himself. It was pretty fucking cool. I was just like, damn, very Spider-Man. So he starts to think to himself, he's like, I was using One for All at 45%, Danger Sense, Smokescreen, Black Whip, Fajin, and Float, and he switched them on and off in rapid succession, but it built up too much and his body froze. So having that lesson learned a few seconds ago, I narrowed it down just to using One for All, Black Whip, and Fajin. So he's still got one leg's worth of Fajin stored up, and he just launches himself at Nagant with the full 100% Manchester Smash and fucking shatters Nagant's arm.
So she rockets himself forward with that speed to kick her with the smash.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Damn, and all he did was break her arm with that. I guess he
missed her face entirely. So,
I mean, if he's flying at the speed of a bullet, that's gonna fuck up anything. To be honest.
No, I'm saying like that's all. It didn't like rip her arm away and murder her?
Yeah. No, I think it's probably because it was reinforced by something. It's not a regular arm, obviously.
All right. Imagine. All right, so the speed of a bullet, right? Something getting shot at the speed of a bullet. And when you think about a bullet being small and how much damage a high caliber bullet can do, right? Like from a sniper getting shot, like from laying the game. That's doing a lot of damage, bro.
Yeah.
So imagine something going at that same speed and velocity, but like the size of, I don't know, what's the like a human body, like a 6 foot long bullet, essentially.
Yeah, it's I see what
That's
you're
why
saying.
I'm a little confused. Maybe it wasn't like full strength, but again, if it's not full, but it's still mad fast. I don't know. I guess our arms are strong, bro. No, it's just weird.
I totally see where you're coming from. It makes sense. Like, it's too precise a strike to even like when you're moving that fast to narrow your attack to strictly just the arm. It's a lot.
Yeah,
it might be a lot. I let suspension of disbelief kind of take over there. So
yeah, I'm not gonna nitpick over it too much. I just felt like, oh, she got a strong arm. She got a beefy arm, bro.
Yeah, no, she did. I mean, you saw how it looked. It looked like an Akuma. You know,
he gave her a little bit of muscular quirk too, or something. That to be what happened.
You know,
that's what I'm going with.
Yeah. So she starts fighting. She starts falling. I mean, she's like, not a hint of hesitation. He recognized who the enemy was, and he struck into he leapt into action like it was the natural thing to do. So as she falls, her arm is just like gross and kind of limp. Deku comes in and grabs her as she falls. She's like, the shot headed for Chisaki was off by a little bit. And if you were really allied with All for One in his brand of evil, you would have hit. Your very first shot would have hit my lower body and stopped me cold. So he's basically like, you were holding back this whole time because I know it's because you're still a good guy deep down. And Nagant's like, what a guy. You're the real deal, Izuku. As she's saying this, she starts to crack open, and at that point I'm like, oh shit.
Oh shit. Because you see that next panel, right? There's no way you don't see that panel right next to this. Yeah. And you don't just immediately put two and two together like, yikes.
Yeah, when you turn the page, you see All for One. It's like, oh my god, what does he want? Yeah.
Oh man. He's like, I'm smart. And I'm playing ahead because I ain't one of these simp ass villains from your regular manga.
Looking
like the ultimate nutsack of evil.
Yeah. He looks like a prune.
Call me Mr. Contingency Plan. I always have a contingency plan. So basically what this is all about is that when he gave Nagant the airwalk quirk, he also added a fucking self-destruct feature into the quirk, which I didn't even know he could do. That's crazy. So because she was about to, I guess, turn on him, she failed the mission. She didn't get to kill Izuku, or not kill, but bring him to him. She just explodes her whole body, and her charred body is just falling down. And he's like, I added a failure clause to the very end. You were just a tool to be used. Curse your blessing of a quirk if you must. And I'm like, damn, what a dick. As Nagant is falling to the ground, Izuku's trying to save her, but then that's when Hawks pulls up, and he's like, no dying on me now, Nagant. And I'm like, her head must be caved in, dude.
It's Yeah.
Well, we don't know exactly what happened, but
It exploded
Oh,
from
she
the
just take
inside.
that-
no,
that
we
shot
saw
from
an explosion, but we
Lyria.
don't know what the severity of the explosion and what it did.
Bro,
You know,
she
like
tanked that shit, son.
we
She's
can't see
right.
her face, so we don't know if her face is fucking caved in or not.
Her face
you know?
has cracks in it.
Nah, she
Like,
tanked
Yeah,
that.
it has cracks in it, but
Look,
people
look.
get cracks in this series.
I'm almost certain she'll survive this, but that doesn't mean it's like how you know.
She got hit with at minimum a 140-pound bullet.
Yeah, and her arm's fucked. You're right, Josh. Look, man, she's charred to a crisp. I don't even know why if she would want to live in this state. You know, she's got third degree.
Her arms all fucked up. She's burnt up.
Dude, you thought Maki had it bad.
She took a L, so she's mentally worn out too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
yeah.
It's that.
it's not good. But I don't know. Hawk saved her, so I guess the finishing blow, which would be to splatter on the ground, didn't happen. So she might be still.
You guys
Yeah, I
mind
guess
if I
they can
start?
have an open casket now, or something.
You guys mind if I start the discussion
Go for it.
on
Brian.
this chapter?
Start the discussion.
All right, so before I get into all the nitty gritty stuff, I'm going to start with what I was disappointed in. And honestly, this
Whoa.
is the least interesting ending to a chapter I've seen from My Hero Academia in a while.
God,
Like,
damn.
Just like the way that like this isn't a really nice panel to end on. Like it's not very dramatic. It's not even really interesting. It's like he photoshopped Hawks onto her body or something. There's nothing really interesting about this. Like
About him
usually
catching a dead woman.
yeah, like he could be a lot more dramatic than this, to be honest. Like he could draw this a lot better. Like they're in a cityscape. There's so much, and he's usually so good at drawing these ending pages with cliffhangers and shit, right? But it kind of just left me like, well, okay, I guess. So she's fine, I guess. Like, what's gonna happen next chapter? She's gonna, like, I'm just disappointed a little bit in how it ended.
Yeah. Well, that's like page composition thing, and I don't know, man. From experience, like panel composition is so fucking hard because at certain points you have to start choosing your battles and what you want to emphasize, and you only get so many pages a week, and for multiple reasons. So it's kind of hard to kind of like distribute it sometimes. I know I have had that problem. Like I draw sometimes and I'm just like, damn, I have to, you have to kill your darlings in a way when it comes to like how you want things to look in terms of page and panel layout. But yeah, I mean, it's not like the most dramatic thing. But I can forgive that. I okay. I guess I just feel empathetic in terms of like artist to artist, I guess, where I'm like, I get it, dude. It's hard sometimes. But yeah, panel composition I've been trying to learn about a lot. And yeah, it's just one of the things that happens sometimes. One Piece does that a lot where they try to, like, its panel composition is on and off in the later years because he's just trying to stuff so much story into one chapter because he doesn't want to do this for 75 more years. So, it's a hard thing to consider, but I do agree with you, Brian. Like your criticism isn't invalid, but it's just kind of like, damn it.
I
I
understand where you're coming from, Brian. What was you gonna? Go ahead.
It's just that I'm just used to such high quality from him, So, and when like a chapter ends like that, it's just like, well, this is still a good chapter, but still, that's kind of. I mean, it's all right.
I'm looking back at the earlier pages, and I'm like, well, it's offset by the fact that the rest of this chapter is fucking baller. Like,
yeah, this whole chapter was was crazy. It's just, man, would be nice if it ended with a bang,
Yeah, I mean, it did technically.
Shut up.
It literally exploded.
But to get into the things that I did like about the chapter, though, or more so, I'm really interested about, was I did not expect this quirk to be this good. You know what I mean? Like, this is a really, really strong quirk, and it's kind of like it kind of brings up a lot of questions to me as to like, because they're making comparisons to All Might and shit, and it's like, how did All Might do all the shit that he did with just the strength alone when he has so many similarities to how these quirks function, right?
Yeah.
So,
well,
it's so wild.
It's all right. Well, look at it like this, right? If you have somebody with powers that can make the wind blow, right, and make really strong gusts of wind, and you're like, oh, that's lit. But then you have someone like All Might who's so fucking powerful that if he claps his hands, he can create wind blasts 5 times the strength of what this guy can do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's whatever. He was so strong that he can just his power. I mean, his power and options were limitless. The only thing he couldn't do was something real specialty wise, like how Yaozuruzu does, like how she just creates inanimate objects. Obviously, you can't do that, but as far as physical feats, if it's physically possible, he could do it in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the question is. I think if you pay attention, like in the very first chapter, All Might uses Fajin. If you think about it, because he bursts really high in the air. After he defeats like the mud dude for the first time. And I don't know if you guys remember this scene, but way back where he was like, where Deku holds onto his leg for the first time as he's like flying through the air. Basically.
Yeah.
I think that like he got to that high by using Fajin.
No, I understand what you're saying, but he didn't have access to any of the previous quirks. He just had access to his 100%.
Huh. I didn't know that. I figured that
he didn't, but that's why I'm asking this. That's why I was kind of. It's not really like I'm asking a question. It's more like I'm posing a thought, where it's like, it's insane that All Might was able to do all that he did, and have it be so similar to like the full extent of all One for All's power.
Yeah,
and not unlock it. Like it's crazy that he had a body that compatible. I think he might have had some influence from like the other quirks on his body without realizing it to an extent. I think
that makes sense.
Just because I'd say,
sorry.
No, never mind. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'll give this thought, right? For however crazy you think All Might is, or however powerful you think he is, right? For what he achieved with just his 100%, and I know you were introducing the thought that maybe the other quirks had influence on him. I think it would literally only be Fajin, because you wouldn't see anything Black Whip related or even with Float. He just jumped around. Regardless, I mean, look, I'd say forget that, right? That's not what we need to focus on. What we should focus on is if All Might could be the man 100 grand with the One for All, Midoriya could potentially reach 100% and then still have access to the other quirks.
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
That's the idea. Man.
So I had kind of, I know Brian definitely had things to say, but I actually had some thoughts about this chapter too, and it only didn't hit the RGC because, One Piece was pretty epic, and I'm not going to do One Piece dirty like that. And I know My Hero Academia is going to have its day in the sun very, very soon.
Yeah.
But that's just a prediction. But look, in this chapter, I remember what Brian said about when in the fight against the muscle dude, and he was like, "Oh, you see, this is showing us that this is still the Midoriya. How he's thinking and using his quirks together." I'm not, I wasn't really feeling you, bro, because I felt like it just wasn't that much thought put into it, and it was something we could predict and figure. Like, yeah, well, you better be able to figure out how to use like your speed and your dash and whatever. But just in this fight against Lady Nagant, against someone that was really thinking and had like a sort of advantage over him as far as experience goes, how like her IQ, you know what I'm saying? Even though she didn't know much about Midoriya, regardless, he found a way to get the advantage on her and beat her. And she had the advantage on him. She had the drop on him as a sniper, which is a really big deal. And I think that there was a point made to that. But what Midoriya did was use his mind, but not just to make a strategy where he would think in his head and try to figure out ways to win. He was actively trying to figure out how to use his quirks together to win, while at the same time under like a lot of heavy duration. I think this chapter showed like the growth, like true. This chapter truly showed the growth that Midoriya's, I guess, been through or inhibited. I forget the word to say.
Yeah.
And then even as it ended, how he tried to save her and talk to her, and it wasn't cheesy to me because she noticed like, damn, this kid ain't just blabbing bullshit. Like, this nigga took a bullet and it still was willing to help me out after I tried to smoke this dude. So he said, like, she looked at him and said, damn, bro, I ain't gonna lie, you the fucking truth, and you're a dead ass like a hero that I could look up to. Yeah. My old ass, my Juma ass.
And then she exploded.
So, yeah, I guess those were my thoughts. I really like this chapter, and I'm damn near considering the RGC, but I'm not going to do that to long.
Yeah. I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen probably would have been my second place RGC, honestly. But
tight third,
honestly, dude. I mean, this was a great chapter. At first, I'll be honest, I was just like very kind of disappointed in Fajin because I didn't put a lot of thought into it, and I was like, damn, another mobility quirk. He has like flow.
But it does have a lot of application,
for sure. After as I gone on and thought about it, I was like, you know what, this is pretty cool. And talking to you guys today has like solidified that even more. But yeah, at first I was like, damn, he's got Black Whip, Float, and what was the other one? Damn, that was more mobility as well.
The smoke screen, which is kind of like, meh.
Yeah,
come on.
But I honestly, this is
the only one I feel like is super lame.
Yeah, these are essentially really cool powers. He's basically Spider-Man at this point.
Yes, with Black Whip was the coolest thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah, which Horikoshi has said that his biggest influence is Spider-Man, like in a superhero sense. So I wouldn't be surprised if his intention is basically to make him Spider-Man to a degree, with some extra powers thrown in, like Smokescreen and what was it? Not Black Whip. Fajin is basically a Spider-Man power. It's like jumping really high, almost.
Dude, if I knew I could send mail directly to Horikoshi, I would try to send him the full series of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man translated in Japanese, just for him to read.
Hey, he's probably got it, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised.
Think so?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got some Marvel comics out there.
Right, because it was such a low-key... Was it a low-key run?
Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty short. It was like 7-9 issues long.
No, it was short in length, but was it popular? Like, was everybody reading it, or was it like low key as far as like like a hidden gem?
Yeah, I think it was more of a hidden gem.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
I know. I was wondering, is like, did it get canceled because it didn't sell well? Is that what it was? Because I loved it. That was a sad day.
It was beautiful.
The day that we lost Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But anyway, My Hero Academia was great. I have no complaints. It was pretty cool. Fajin has grown on me completely. I'm into it.
Same.
Yeah.
There's one more thing that I actually want to say about Fajin is I think this is going to be a really good combo quirk. Like, I doubt he's ever going to use this for actual combat. I think he's always going to use this to kind of become more All Might-esque in his ability to like get to places like in one leap and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really interesting to see how Deku is kind of piecing it all together. Because this is doing a lot of like visual storytelling, right? They're not telling you how Deku figured out how to use it. They're showing you how Deku found out how to use this quirk. Like, even when the first time they use it in the last chapter, it was like he used the smoke quirk, right? And then you see him throwing around those decoys, essentially, like the cape, his hood or something. That was him building up kinetic energy while also making use of the movements that he had to make. you know?
It was really fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like he was already considering all that shit while actively trying a quirk that he's never used before. So Deku is really like on his A game right now. It's like he knows what's at risk and everything, and he knows the stakes, and he's really honing in on what his strengths are. And I think that's really fucking interesting the way Horikoshi is choosing to show that.
Yeah.
Because they could constantly be talking about how he does it and all that shit, but he chooses to show instead of tell, which is really, really impressive.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And there is a cool bit of growth with Deku where, you know, he's learning, you know, that he can't just keep switching them on and off, that he's realizing that, oh, well, it's better if I choose, like, based on my strategy that I want to employ, I choose the quirks that are relevant to that strategy and just keep the others off. You know, so I guess the only way to do that is to be a little bit reckless up top, which is, you know, why he's been like shifting through so many quirks. You know, you learn trial by fire essentially, but
yeah, and he'll develop his combinations.
Yeah, oh my
god. That's really interesting. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anybody who can like strategize combinations, it'll probably be Deku out of everybody.
It'd be Deku, yeah.
Oh
Makes
my god.
sense. And as he gets inspiration from the other fellow heroes. Yeah. I like that. I like this trajectory. I'm starting to. All right. Yo, this chapter, I ain't gonna lie, is starting to shift my perception. I don't want to jump off the boat though, but it's this. Let it be known that here is where a middle ground. It was sliding for me, and then like recently, it was still sliding, but it was very level. This has not only made it even, but slightly up, like a. The bleeding has stopped completely with this chapter.
Yeah, it's cauterized, the wound. Well, I'm glad that you're digging it a little bit more. I'm also starting to like appreciate. I never had like lost all that much faith in my hero, but I do like it a little bit more, you know, as the chapters have been going on. A little bit more direction. Here for it.